All right, hey everybody. Today we are talking about learning from our mistakes. All right, so I'm going to take you through the slides here, and then after we go through these slides, you'll be able to complete the worksheet for the homework. So when we talk about mistakes, what's the difference in the top 20s and the bottom 80s? Well, the difference in these two groups are the way they respond to their mistakes, and that's what we're going to talk about today. The way that the top 20s are able to learn from their mistakes and respond to them. So in order to talk about mistakes, first we must know, what do we care about when we make a mistake? So if you think about that question, when we make a mistake, what do we care about? Well, it's what other people think. All right, we're always thinking about what the teacher thinks, what the coach thinks, what do our parents think, what are our friends going to think? All right, how others respond to our mistakes hugely impacts us. All right, their responses are the most powerful experience we will have and will shape how we feel about our future mistakes. So everyone has different responses to things, but some examples of negative responses are people getting mad, people yelling and punishing, judging, giving dirty looks, freaking out, using sarcasm, criticizing, not trusting anymore, ignoring, talking behind backs, being disappointed in you, and turning against you. All right, if this is how people normally respond to your mistakes, then their message to you is probably, you better not make a mistake. So if you feel that these negative responses are coming down on you when you make a mistake, you're probably feeling you better not make a mistake. So we're going to talk about getting the you better not make a mistake out of your head. All right, and to do that, we're going to talk through two different stories. The first one's called the flashlight story, and the second one is called the popcorn story. All right, in these two stories, the characters respond to mistakes differently, and it's going to make more sense after. So, first one, the flashlight story. Although not an electrician, Michael Cole's father tried to repair wiring in his own home for relatives. Since the electricity in the house had to be turned off while his father worked on the wiring, young Michael's job was to hold the flashlight so his father could see. If his father couldn't get something to work, he would always rage and swear at Michael for how he was holding the flashlight. Michael, you're good for nothing. You never do anything right. If his father became displeased a second time, the punishment would become even more severe. Michael learned 3 powerful lessons from this experience. The first lesson was he couldn't do anything right. Nothing short of perfection was acceptable. The second lesson, he learned to fear and deny mistakes. At first he would lie. If that didn't work, he would blame someone else. And third, he believed that the lesson in any mistake came only through the punishment. As an adult, when his father was no longer present, Michael would dwell on his mistakes and punish himself. It wasn't until the age of 48 that Michael heard the following popcorn story that he realized there was a better response to mistakes. He could learn from the mistakes without requiring the punishment. He could keep the lesson and throw away the mistake. The popcorn story. One night, 7-year-old Paul wanted to make popcorn. While his parents were in the living room, he undertook his cooking and adventure in the kitchen. He put oil into the pot and placed it on a hot burner. Once the oil was hot, Paul reached up to pour popcorn seeds into the pot. Unfortunately, when the plastic bag containing the seeds touched the hot pot, a hole melted in the bag, and the seeds spilled all over the stove, the counter, and the floor. Upon hearing this commotion, Paul's parents rushed into the kitchen and immediately asked, "Are you okay?" "Yes," Paul answered, although startled by what had happened. He had not been burned. "Are you sure?" "Yes, I'm fine," Paul replied. "Good," his parents said. "We'll help you clean up the mess." Paul and his parents spent the next 10 minutes on the floor, picking up the seeds. Paul's popcorn mistake and the way his parents responded to him made a powerful and mental emotional imprint on him and resulted in his learning of 3 important lessons. The first lesson. Paul was more important than a mistake. Because his parents' immediate concern was for his well-being and not for the popcorn mess, Paul experienced deep value and worth. Certainly, this was reinforced by his parents many times throughout his life. Number 2, be there when people mess up. One of our purposes in life is to be there for others when they experience difficulties. It is not our responsibility to clean it up for them, but to support them in making things better. And number 3, mistakes are wonderful. Because many wonderful things can be learned from mistakes and risk-taking, they are to be valued and not avoided. This experience taught Paul the attitude and belief that mistakes are beneficial. In fact, it is the belief that mistakes are beneficial that makes mistakes beneficial for the top 20s. So in the beginning of this slide, we talked about how the top 20s respond to mistakes. And here it says that it's just the belief itself that mistakes are beneficial. So in the flashlight story, there are a few examples in here where Michael didn't feel like his mistakes were valuable, and they didn't feel like it was part of a bigger picture. Okay, and that's why he couldn't do anything right, or he feared and denied mistakes, or he dwelled on them. In the popcorn story, we saw multiple examples of his parents treating him with value and self-worth, and that is what made the difference in the two stories. It's how the people responded to those mistakes, and in these stories, it was how the parents responded. So these 5 responses to mistakes are very important. So if you're taking notes, I would write these down. Whether we are aware of it or not, we respond to every mistake we make. These responses fall into these 5 categories. So we saw all 5 of these in the last 2 stories. The first one is denial. We deny a mistake by stating it didn't happen. We don't talk about it, we block it out, and we get defensive. Number 2, blame. We acknowledge the mistake but blame someone else. He did it, or she made me do it. We blame in order to get off the hook and avoid responsibility. Number 3, justify. We admit to the mistake but give reasons for our actions to free us from blame or criticism. I didn't get it done because I was helping mow the lawn. Number 4, dwell on it. We focus on nothing else but the mistake. We allow the mistake to overwhelm us. I'm so stupid. I never do anything right. And number 5, we own it and learn from it. By looking at the mistake in the eye, we can learn that what the life lesson is trying to teach us. We use it as a teacher. I just made a mistake, so what can I learn from this? So, where does the big learning happen? Outside of our comfort zone. Right? This is leading us into our lesson for tomorrow. Failure is the opportunity to begin again more intelligently. Henry Ford. All right, so to talk about our responses to mistakes, the popcorn story, the flashlight story, and how others respond, today's assignment, you're going to download the PDF titled Mistakes Worksheet and Notability. And you're going to upload it tonight to Schoology by midnight. All right, make sure it is filled out completely, and then go ahead and upload it.